Hello again, everyone. Mr. Cruze here with the final part of your Chapter 3 test review for business math. All right. Remember, you can use these videos anytime, except on your test, obviously. But basically, this is for you to check your answers / get the answers so that you can help yourself with the review tomorrow. Okay? Because your test is tomorrow, and I want you to do extremely well. So use this wisely. On May 30th, her check register showed a balance of $700.61. Her check register showed this balance, so we're going to go down to the check register and put in $761. Her bank statement balance on the date was $1143.90. Okay, this one's a little weird because it has an other charges part. The other charges part of her bank statement showed an EFT, electronic funds transfer, car loan payment of $250 that was not recorded in the register. So we're going to put that. The car loan payment was not put down here. A lot of you thought that was an outstanding check before, and that's not. That's actually something that's not in the check register. So $250 goes in the withdrawal down here, which, by the way, puts us at a new total of $450.61. Checks outstanding were, that's up here, $834 for $48.33, $837 for $21.19, and $838 for $161.77. A direct deposit of $480 was not recorded in the check register. Underline that, check register. That's not an outstanding deposit. That's something we forgot to put down here. That's something we forgot. Maybe we accidentally got a check and we just forgot that we added it in there. A lot of people are going to want to put it up here, but it's not an outstanding check. The statement showed it. We didn't. So that brings us up to $930.61. Let's see, what else? Check 836 for $86.40 was accidentally recorded as $68.40. That's an error on our part. So that's a check error. Okay, so what we're going to do is add the error back in. So we accidentally documented it as $68.40. So we're going to add that back in. So that gives us $999.01. Now we're going to correct it. So check correction. We're actually going to subtract out the correct amount this time, which is $86.40. Okay, you have to add back in the mistake and then take out what it was supposed to be, which brings us to $912.61. Then it says reconcile both. Well, that's all they tell us. No outstanding deposits, so that's quite nice. Add up the outstanding checks. You get a total of $231.29 when you add those. So go ahead and subtract $1143.90 minus $231.29. and you get $912.61, which matches up with your check register. Okay, there are lots of mistakes to be made on this one. Okay, so be careful. First off, this deposit goes down here in the check register, and secondly, a lot of people messed up the check correction. Okay, the last thing that'll be on your test tomorrow is the interest. Okay, for the most part, the interest is just going to be I equals PRT. And remember what this means. This means interest equals your principal, which is the amount in your account, times the rate. Remember, you have to change that into a decimal, times the time as a fraction. Okay. So let's try these out. So these are the ones without the table. So no table on these. Okay. Should be kind of obvious. I know 2.5% is on your table. 6% is not. 1.3% is not. All those aren't. So it should be a clue. No table. All right. So let's just multiply here. You're just literally going to take 1,200 times, don't forget, rewrite this as a decimal. Move this 2 places, so it'll be 0.025. And quarterly, that would be either 1/4 if you're okay with fractions, or that will be, let me erase this real fast, or that will be 0.25. So you're literally just multiplying 1,200 times 0.025 times 0.25, and you should get a nice even $7.50. Nothing fancy. Do the same thing with the next one. Take 575 times 6% as a decimal is 0.06, and then semi-annual is every half of a year, so that's 0.5, or 1/2 if you'd rather use a fraction. So take 575 times 0.06 times 0.5, and you should get $17.25. Okay? Part C, take $900 times Move the decimal point 2 places. 0.013 times 0.25 again. Multiply that out, and you do get a different decimal this time. You get 2.925. And remember, you can only have two numbers after the decimal point. So you ask yourself, does that 5 round the 2 up? The answer is yes, of course it does. So it's actually $2.93. Okay? Same thing, 650 times, let's move the decimal point 1, 2 places, so we got 0.022, and then times 0.25 again, because it's quarterly. Multiply that out. I think you get, let's see, I think you get 3.575, and again, 2 places only, so you have to ask yourself, does the 5 round that 7 up? And the answer is, of course, yes. So it is 358. Okay. Last one here, $2,200 times, move the decimal point, 0.031. Semi-annual is 0.5, so you multiply that, and I think you get a nice, neat 1705. No rounding at all necessary on that one. Okay, just remember, principal times rate times time. Alright, this one's very similar. A lot of you got confused today, or past couple days in class. This one's very similar to what's in the table. It's just written out. Except, there's one little catch. Your bank pays 3% annual interest compounded quarterly on January 1st, April 1st, July 1st, and October 1st. So basically, that's quarterly, right? So you deposit $900 on April 1st, and you made no other deposits or withdrawals. Find your savings account balance on January 1st of the next year. So you put in the money on April 1st. July 1st, it's going to collect interest. October 1st, it's going to collect interest. And January 1st, again, it's going to collect interest. You were too late on the deposit to make the April one, okay? So how much interest did we earn for these 9 months? So basically, we're going to have to compound our interest 3 separate times. So this one, how much do we start with? Well, $900. Times our rate, which is 0.03, times, since this is happening 4 times, that's actually quarterly, so that's 0.25. Multiply that out, you should get $6.75. That's how much interest it earns up until July 1st. Go ahead and add that to the 900, and you get $906.75. So at July 1st, this is your new balance. Okay? This is your new principal. That means when we get to October 1st and they go to calculate our interest again, instead of 900, now it's 906.75. So this works to our advantage because now we have a little extra money. That's the only thing that changes. The rate is still the same. The quarterly is still the same. So now you're going to multiply this out. And I think when you do, you get 680 this time. Notice the interest has gone up a little bit. Why? Because our principal was more, right? So this is kind of a nice way to build money, right? Go ahead and now take the 906.75 and add in the 680, and you should get 913.55. This is your new balance on October 1st. When we get to January 1st, that's our new balance, 913.55. So, again, don't change the 0.03, don't change the 0.25, you're just changing the principal. When you multiply this out, now you get 685, and it looks like it's going up by 5 cents every time. Eventually it'll be more. But anyway, now you're going to take the 913.55 and add in 685, and you should get 920.40, which I believe is the first part of the question. What's your account balance on January 1st? There it is, 920.40. Then it says how much interest did you earn for these 9 months? Well, just take 920.40 and subtract out what we originally started with, which is 900, and you get $20.40 interest. Okay, so in 9 months we earned $20, a little over $20 in interest. Okay, these last ones allow you to use this table. Okay, and you will have this table. This is from your notes. Okay. Remember, you can use your notes on this as well, so that'll be good. And I'll have extra copies of this if necessary. But anywho, you're going to need this table. Okay. Basically, it's real easy to use. You look up the percent, and you look up how long or how many periods it's for. Okay. So here we go. $800 at 1.25% for 4 years annually. Annually is fine. You just look up the table. So here we go. 1.25% for 4 years. So we're going to look up the number. 1.25% is this column. 4 years is this row. So we are looking at 1.050945. So 1.050495. All right, 1.050945, yes. Okay, 945. My fault. 945. This is the number, 1.050945, that you're going to multiply by 800. You're just literally going to multiply the principal by that number, and it gets you your compound amount, which I believe gives you 840.756. But again, you can't have more than 2 numbers behind the decimal point because we're talking about dollars and cents, right? So we have $840.76. Then it says compound interest. Well, you're just figuring out how much interest you made. So take the compound amount minus the principal. We made $40.76. Okay. Do the same thing with part B. $1,700 this time at 1% for 11 years. So I need to look up now. Let me delete this. I need to look up 1% for 7 years. Well, that's 1.072135. 1.072135. You're going to multiply that by the 1,700. And when you do, you get 1896 point some crazy decimal 6356. Again, look at 2 places back. The 5 raises up the 3. So it's actually 1896.64. Okay. Again, take your compound amount minus the principal minus the 1,700. And you get 196.64 for your for your interest. Part C here is the weird one, okay? Because it's quarterly, unlike annually. Well, quarterly you have to divide your percent by 4 and multiply your years by 4. Side note here, editor's note: if it was semi-annually, you would divide the percent by 2 and you'd multiply the years by 2. Okay. Quarterly's 4, semi-annually's 2, so be careful. Anyway, 5 divided by 4 is 1.25%, and 3 times 4 is 12 years. So really, we're going to look up this on our table, 1.25 for 12. So let's see, 1.25 for 12 is right here. 1.160755. You multiply that by the 650, okay, and you should get 754.49075. The 0 is not enough to raise up the 9 any further, so it's just 754.49. Whoa, I can write 754.49. And again, subtract it to figure out how much money you actually made on that, and it's 104.49. Okay. Last one. A high school sets aside $100 for freshman students. The $100 is placed in a savings account that earns 5% annual interest compounded semi-annually. So we're going to take the percent and divide by 2, which is 2.5%. You're going to take the number of years, which will be 4 years, and multiply that by 2, so you get 8 years. Okay. 8 periods, really, but years is fine. How much interest will the $100 have earned? So we're going to take 100 times whatever it says for 2.5% for 8 years. Okay, 2.5% for 8 years. Here's 2.5%. Here's 8 years. So that's 1.218403. You multiply that out, you end up with $121.84. This is how much interest will it have made. Well, $21.84 in interest. Okay, that's it. Come in early if you have questions. Watch these videos. Help yourself out. All right. I want you to be successful on this test. It's going to look a lot like this review. So be good and do lots of studying. See you tomorrow.